Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 baby names we love but won't be using. If you are brand new here, my name is Erica. I'm currently almost 6 months pregnant with baby boy number 2. I have a 2-year-old toddler named Hugo, and I am so excited to be sharing with you guys the 10 baby names, 5 girl, 5 boy, that we love and have been on our list now for a long time, but that we're not going to be using. We've definitely narrowed down the field for baby boy number 2, and I'm pretty sure we want to have a 3rd. So there are definitely a handful of names that I am keeping on the side, but these are names that either I love but Jeff doesn't, or vice versa, and I will specify all of that. So we're gonna do one girl name, 1 boy name. Yeah, 1 boy name, 1 girl name, 1 boy name, 1 girl name until we get to 10. So let's jump right into it. The very first name is Noah. I love this baby boy name. It is a name that I love, but that my husband Jeff does not love. And I think if he loved it, it would definitely be a front runner for baby boy number 2, because I think Hugo and Noah just sound so nice together. Noah has 4 letters, Hugo has 4 letters. Obviously, with this being baby number 2, we're very aware of which names sound or go well with our existing son's name. So unfortunately, Noah is one that we are going to be giving a pass this go around. Now for a girl name, and this is a name that Jeff loves but that I just don't love enough, and that is Philomena. I think Philomena is such a pretty name, and I love the nicknames that you can get out of Philomena. But when I look at our baby girl name list, which now, being that I have 2 sons, is quite long, there are names that I love more than Philomena, but I do love how unique it is. I think it's a very vintage name. I think if you're looking for a unique name that isn't quite as popular, then Philomena might be a good one. Next name on the list is one that for a little period of time, Jeff and I really thought we'd be naming this little boy, and that is Louis. We randomly were watching American Idol one night, and there was a contestant named Louis, and we both looked at each other and thought, oh, we love that. I've heard the name before, obviously, but it just had never come up in our discussions about baby boy names. And Jeff was like, yeah, I was thinking about that name a few days ago and meant to mention it to you, and it all felt very serendipitous. But after a few weeks, I just fell out of love with it. I think it's such a cute name. I love that it's a royal name. Come on, you guys know. But I just fell out of love with it. And so it's one of those names that we love, but we're just not using. Next name on the list is an OG girl name that Jeff and I both loved. Even before we got pregnant with Hugo, and I was talking baby names with Jeff because that's just my vibe, this was a name that came up, and we both were like, yeah, we really like this girl name, and that is the girl named January. I think I've probably mentioned this name on this channel before because I've made other baby name videos in the past, but January is one of those names that we both really gravitated toward in the way beginning. We both liked how different it was, how unique it was, and it is still a very different, unique name. So if that's something you're looking for, yeah, I think there's something very sophisticated about it. But again, because I think because we had been talking about it for so long, I swear we have been talking about it since before we even got pregnant with Hugo. And then when we got pregnant with Hugo and we weren't sure if it was a girl or a boy, January was one that was floating around. But one other girl name started pouring in, and there were a few that outranked January. So January was one we loved, but we are giving a skip. The next name is gonna come as no surprise if you've watched any of my other recent baby name videos, because this is a boy name that I truly just love and think is the cutest thing ever, and that is the name George. So George is one that I love that Jeff doesn't. Spoiler, there are obviously more names that I love that Jeff doesn't, because this is not something that he spends a lot of his time contemplating, but I think George is so so cute. I think it's so cute. It's a royal name, so like on my personal list that always like bumps a name up a few notches. I also, Father of the Bride is like my favorite movie ever, so I think of George Banks. Love Steve Martin. There's just like so many positive associations that George has that ranks it so high up on my list. It is not a favorite of Jeff's, and unfortunately he vetoed it. Otherwise, I also just love, like, I found that I love G names. Anything that starts with a G is super, like, always quite high on the baby names that I love. Next name is one that I think Jeff really loves, that I like it, but again, just like with there's other girl names that I like more, and that is the name Claire. I think Claire is a beautiful, stunning name, like a timeless name. It reminds me a lot of Sophia or Mary, like these very beautiful, timeless names. And there was definitely a period of time where I was like convinced, I'm always convinced we're gonna have a girl, and I always like have a name ready to go. And I had Claire, I can't remember if I had Claire for Hugo or if I had Claire for this baby. I think I had it for Hugo. We love The Time Traveler's Wife, and we had an excerpt of The Time Traveler's Wife read at our wedding, and so that story is really special to us, and the main woman in that story, her name is Claire. And so I loved that association. And again, I just think it's like such a beautiful, very traditional name. And then other names just started to feel more, I don't know, just felt better to me. But I just love the vintage aspect of Claire. And I think Claire is a French name. You'll have to correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but just think it's so pretty. Next name is one that I love. Jeff said no to, and that is the boy name Nathaniel. What is there not to love about the name Nathaniel? It is so cute. I love the nickname Nate. I think of Nate Barkus. Y'all, my mind, I can't think of names and not associate them with movies or celebrities, or, you know, I just can't, my brain can't not do that. So I just love the name Nathaniel. I've had great Nathaniel experiences in my life. Jeff just doesn't love it. He doesn't love it, which is so sad because I think it's so cute. Next name is another one that I love that Jeff doesn't really love, that he's teased me a little bit about, and that is the name Giulia, but spelled with a G. Jeff likes to say that this looks like it should be pronounced as Giulia, but it's Giulia. It's the Italian way of spelling Giulia, I'm pretty sure. I mentioned before, I have a thing with the letter G. There's a G in Hugo. I just think like the two go together so well. And who knows, this might be one that like I can create. If we have a third baby, if we have a fourth baby, and any of those babies are girls, I might be able to sneak Giulia in. I might, maybe. I just love it. I love it. I think Giulia is obviously in the United States a very popular name. Giulia with a J. Giulia, Julie, they're both like very popular names. But you spell them with a G, and I feel like you're taking a common name, but just kind of jazzing it up a little bit and making it a little bit different. And I love that. I think that that's so great. So Giulia is a high one on my list, but Jeff said no. The next name is one that Jeff had originally mentioned that I love, but that we both, I don't know, for reasons I won't get into, we just decided, you know, maybe this is one that we should give a skip, and that is the boy named James. Love James. James, again, such a classic name. We definitely gravitate toward classic names that have a little bit of a unique twist to them. I feel like, Hugo's not one that you would think of as like completely classic, but I don't think it's too far out there. I love James. I love that it does steer a little bit more toward the traditional side. It was one that Jeff had mentioned early in this, early when we found out that this was a boy. James was one that he had mentioned, and I was kind of surprised that he mentioned a name that was a little more traditional in nature, because I feel like Jeff is definitely the one of the two of us that gravitates more toward the unique names. I'm a little bit more traditional. But with the boy names, y'all, with the boy names that we have circulating right now for baby boy number 2, James just slowly made its way off the list. this, but it's such a great one. And the very last name is a girl name that Jeff really likes, but I just can't. I'll explain. And it's the girl name Amelie. That's such a pretty, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am from the northeast of the United States. I also have like just a hard time getting my words out. I'm not gonna blame that on the region in which I was grown up in, but New Yorkers, people from New Jersey, like this area, we just tend to be a little, I don't know, a little more relaxed with our speech. And Amelie, I just think is one that is going to be a hard one for my family and friends to wrap their mouths around. It's very French and it sounds beautiful, and it sounds beautiful in a French accent, it sounds beautiful in an English accent, but with a New York accent, I don't know, maybe I'm being like hypercritical, but I just felt like it is such a beautiful name, and I love the movie, we saw the musical, like such a huge fan, but I don't know, there's just something about it where I was like, I don't know if my family is going to be able to like really pronounce it as well. Okay guys, and that is it for the 10 baby names that we love but won't be using. If these names gave you any ideas, or if there are names that are very similar to the ones that I mentioned, definitely leave them down below. We are on a constant hunt for some traditional yet unique names. Two things hopefully don't cancel each other out. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.